Hi friends.
Hi friends. This is Q&A part 2. And you're not going to believe this, but we're not even getting to the questions in the fishbowl yet, because there was still one more thing that so many of you wanted to know about us, and that is how we got together and how long we've been married and what helps us to stay together.
Yeah,
So I'm going to let you go first.
good questions. Well, I was married and had 6 children. Their ages were 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. And my wife was killed in a single car accident on slick roads in January. And I called my mother, who was alone, and I said, throw some things in your suitcase, come on over, you're going to help me raise these kids. And I knew that the number one goal for me was to find somebody that could love me and my kids, and we could love them. And so the year that I was single, I went out with about 25 different women, and I usually gave them a picture of the 6 kids. And said it's all of us or none of us. And most of the women thought the kids were a burden, but the only one that didn't think the kids were a burden was Liz.
Well, probably one good reason for that is because we had known each other before. We lived in the same area, and we went to the same church congregation. So I knew the children, and I knew that they weren't just 6 children, but they were 6 wonderful children. So it was a bonus to me to marry a wonderful man and have 6 wonderful children. But you might be surprised to know that I asked him out first. He asked me on several dates after that, and we just found that we had a good time together. We had a lot of the same values. We're very different people, but we just fell in love with each other, and we got married. Oh, I wanted to show you something before I said that. When Craig asked me to marry him, he came over to my house with this little unicorn music box, and on the horn of the music box was an engagement ring. And I was very happy to say yes. That was an exciting day.
Me too.
And I wanted to show you a picture of our wedding day. I hope you can see that. That's a picture of us cutting our wedding cake, and on top of the cake was a little unicorn. Before we got married, we had some kind of funny experiences because I had grown up in a home with one brother and a mother and father, and adjusting to a family with 6 children was quite an adjustment for me. And we always laugh about the time we had just been on a date, and Craig said we need to stop at the store and pick up a few groceries. So he asked me if I would go get the milk. And so of course I picked up a gallon of milk and brought it back and put it in the cart. And he said, well, that's a good start, but go back and get 10 more. They drank 11 gallons of milk a week. Anyway, it was things like that were kind of fun and funny, and I'm sure when we first got married that it was pretty hard for the family to adjust to me too, because we all had different ways of doing things, but it was a great fun time. And it's been a great fun time ever since.
Yeah, I had
years. Oh, and we had 2 years later, we had our Dylan. You met him the other day, our troubleshooter, and he's our baby.
And he was born on his grandfather's 77th birthday. They have the same date. Yeah.
There were just so many little miracles that helped us to get together. It just felt like it was just the right thing for us, and it's still felt that way. We are so different. Craig is kind of a risk taker, and I'm very cautious. He's very spontaneous, and I'm a planner. And in the Grandpa Reads the Comics, he's got the personality, but I can make the costumes and the props and the sets, and so we work well together. We're a good team.
Yeah, I do have to say one thing about Grandma, or Liz, is that she's perfect in so many ways. She's not perfect in everything, but she's perfect in so many ways.
Well, I have to say this about Grandpa. One thing that is so nice about him is he always tells me how much he appreciates me. And he tells me things like that, which are very nice to hear. I think, too, we've talked about how we feel like being unselfish is a very important thing when you're in a relationship. And again, as he said, we're not perfect. So we're not perfectly unselfish, but it is an important thing to us. So we try hard to be unselfish and think of each other and each other's needs. And anyway, that's a little bit about us and how we got together. And
Whenever I'm around Liz, I like to hold her hand
I love that.
or put my arm around her and snuggle up with her.
I love that too.
And some of you asked, you know, how do you keep this thing going? And I think it's little things like that. I always hold the door for her, car door, when I think that somebody could be watching me. I can't think of any other thing to answer right now, but we're going to try to do this every week.
We'll get to these questions next week.
We love you guys.
We do.
Hope to see you again soon. Bye now.
Bye.